Hey guys, Kel here. Today I'll be reviewing the Buck Knives Spitfire, model number 722. And some quick specs here. Handle material is anodized aluminum. Nicely done, anodized aluminum. And we're going to get into that, how well it's held up. So handle material is anodized aluminum, very lightweight. Blade material is typical Buck 420 HC. And the overall length for this knife is about 7.5 inches. Overall blade length is right around 3 1/8, about 3 1/8, with a working edge of, actual cutting edge of 2 3/4. Blade shape is a hollow ground drop point. It has this opening hole right here, kind of reminiscent of a spider co, but instead of round, it's an oval. And like I said, this is let me see if I can get this to focus. This is a model 722. There we go. And the date code is 2016. So this is a new knife. I just got it back in May this year. Overall weight, and one of the things I really like about this knife is the weight. Overall weight for the knife comes in at 3.2 ounces, so it's pretty lightweight. It's a pretty lightweight knife. The design is a mid lockback. Has a lockback in the mid part. Like I said, this is anodized green aluminum, and some of the earlier models had an orange spacer. This is a newer model, like I said, 2016. It does not. It's a gray back spacer. Let's check out centering. Centering is perfect. It's right down the pike, even though there's not a whole lot of room for it to be off. It's very close there between the liners. And I like the looks. I like the looks. It's a good looking knife, and that's why I got it. I actually got it for the lightweight. I was looking for a lightweight knife, and then it kind of reminded me of, with the aluminum handles, lightweight. Well, this Code 4 is not light as weight as that, but reminded me of my Code 4 with the aluminum handles, and then the blade shape and detail reminded me of my Spyderco Delica. So I thought, well, this is kind of like the best of both worlds, and I know that this is not on par, with this knife especially, but as far as material, blade material. But I thought, for an everyday kind of knife, I don't have to carry my Delica and worry about losing it. I don't have to worry about my Code 4 and scratching it all up. I'm going to get this Buck, and I'm just going to use it, and that's going to be my everyday use knife for whatever I need, and that's what I got it for. So I was looking for a modern folder that was lightweight and usable for every day. And what I like about this knife, here's some good points about the knife. Some good points about the knife. It's lightweight. It's very lightweight. You can't even tell that this is in your pocket for the weight and the size. It fits in the pocket well. It stays out of the way. It's not an extremely deep carry. With the clip, you have about that much sticking out of your pocket, but it's not bad. I mean, nobody's going to think you have a sword in your pocket, that's for sure. The blade shape. I like the blade shape. I am not a recurve guy. And this has a slight recurve. Actually, it's got quite a bit of a recurve. It seems more like in the hollow grind part than it does here on the edge. But there's a recurve. And I'm not a recurve guy, but you know what? This works. And it works well. I don't mind that. It cuts like nobody's business. It's not that bad at all for the recurve. So it really cuts really well. The shape along with the hollow grind make it a great slicer. This thing, like I said, it cuts really well in slices. Blade steel is Buck's 420 HC, typical Buck steel with the Boss heat treating. So that's why I'm not really concerned about the edge retention, because it does really well. I mean, it holds up really well. I cannot complain about the steel, the heat treat, the edge retention. It's good. So it leads leads to the cost of this knife. And this is an everyday user knife for the average guy. That's what it is. It's not a bushcraft knife that you can baton with. It's not a cold steel with a triad lock. You know, it's a mid back lock, everyday kind of knife. So it's not heavy duty, but it's not lightweight either. It's a good lockback. Just a usable knife to open things with, you know, to open things, cut things with, whittle sticks, whatever, things like that. That's what it's for. It's a user. It's not a collector's knife. It's not a collectible knife. There's a few reasons it's not a collector's knife. I'll go over that in a moment. But I've been carrying this knife exclusively for about 4 months, and it's held up well. The handle anodizing, I mean, in and out of the pocket with keys and everything, I am very impressed with that. It has held up, not scratched up. I mean, very nice. The logo, however they put that on, screen printing, however that is not worn at all. In 4 months in and out of my pocket, like a lot. So it's a typical user knife. You know, and it's a good knife with a few problems. I'll put it that way. A good knife with a few problems. And we'll go over the few of the problems here in a second. Because right now the price on Amazon is $30. That's what I paid for it in May. So that's a $30 knife. This is what you're getting. Now, some of the problems. They have some problems. And for some people this may be major. For me, just being a user knife, they're borderline bearable for the price of $30. And as received, the secondary grind, man, I hope I can get this focused. The secondary grind was rough. I mean, very rough. If it's not like that now, no, it's not going to focus. I need a new camera. I'm getting one, so my next reviews will be much better. But it was rough. It was very rough. It was sharp, but it was a toothy sharp. I mean, real toothy. I sharpened it. There's a little bit of residual edge of the original edge at the tip and back here at the recurve. But I didn't want to take that much steel away. You know, I figured I'll get to that during sharpening process anyway. So I didn't want to remove that much steel just for a user knife. Now the edge, I've had worse. I've had worse and supposedly better knives. So it's not that big a deal. But the biggest problem with this, let me show you first. There's no side-to-side blade play, none whatsoever. It's locked up. Even when it's unlocked, it's solid, back and forth, side to side, solid as a rock. But now, what is a problem is up and down blade play when it's locked up, and you can maybe even hear that. I don't know, but there's wiggle up and down, and it appears, you know, it's nothing that tightening the pivot screw can take care of, because it appears as though the pivot hole is just too big in the blade. I mean, you can unlock it and still, you know, back and forth, locked up and down, up and down. So how much is it? It's not a lot, but it's there. And that's one of the problems I have with the knife. So for a review, I asked myself, would I buy this knife again? I mean, if I lost it, would I buy it again? And I guess yes, despite its shortcomings, I would, because it's a knife that I can use. It's held up very well. It's only $30, so I could buy 2 buck Spitfires for the price of 1 Delica. I know the blade steel it doesn't compare. You know, you're not comparing apples and apples. You're comparing apples and oranges when it comes to blade steel and all that. But that's the thing. I don't carry my Delica every day because I'm afraid I'll lose it or I'll mess it up or something. I've already got some scratches, and it's like, right there. And, you know, it's like, that killed me. It's like, okay, so I want a knife like this, but cheaper and one that I'm not afraid to carry or mess up. With this buck, I don't have those concerns. I carry this thing everywhere, and if I did lose it, I'd go get another one. So overall, it's a good knife with an annoying problem that doesn't hurt the usage. But you know what? I'd like to see a little better quality in an American-made knife. I really would. And I think everybody would. Because, you know what? There's some knives coming out of China. Here's an example. It's a Ganzo 727. Yeah, it's got its shortcomings, but this is a $20 knife. That buck's a $30 knife. I don't know. I like to see better coming from America. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Good knife. I'd buy it again. It cuts. It's a user knife, and that's what I'm going to try to do reviews on is user knives and budget friendly. And that's my review of the Buck Spitfire, model number 722. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this review. And just don't, and you know, just remember, the Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. So stay sharp, guys.